Commander Masters Commander decks really are having an after effect with the reserve list, and in this case it's Enduring Enchantments. So during today's video we'll be taking a look at how that particular deck is affecting reserve list sales, as well as other spikes on the market, probably caused by the article released talking about the non-tournament legal playtest cards coming to a store or secret lair near you. FOMO can be a great thing. It can cause excitement. It can get everyone stirred up. But it also is a powerful weapon that can be used against you if you succumb to the temptation. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. And we're talking about reserve list cards. This week is the top 10 reserve list, but we're not going to get to that till near the end of the video. We have to discuss what's going on right now every time Wizards of the Coast prints new cards. Like a bad infomercial from the 90s, a new card gets printed, creates infinite combo with old reserve list card. That's what it feels like. Those old commercials that create the FOMO and the hype. And it can happen, and it does happen, and it will continue to happen. But like other spikes we see with old reserve list combos, as much as you may want to try that combination out, as much as you want to have those cards, wait for the hype to die down. Wait for things to slow down. Because something happened this week on the reserve list that I was not expecting. If somebody had made a bet with me, I would have said it was not likely. I would have given you a 90-10. 90% against, 10% chance of. I study the reserve list relentlessly. During every lunch break at my job, when I get home, when I wake up, I check all kinds of cards. And this week the sales, they start out kind of mid-range, and a whole bunch of cards I checked by the end of the week were spiking up. We have a lot of heavy sales this week. Some of them are caused directly by Enduring Enchantments. That's the brand new Commander Masters deck that's coming out. And by the way, the sales on that are pretty high, even though it's a mediocre deck with low value. Players do want to get their hands on the new cards inside that. Same as the Sliver Swarm, as well as, of course, the Eldrazi deck, right? Those are like really sought after things right now, but they aren't causing spikes on the reserve list like Enduring Enchantments. So when we go through today's video, you're going to see some unusual cards that shouldn't be here. And part of that is I think, related to the comments made about the playtest cards, but also I think in that Twitch stream where they showed these decks, they talked a little bit about some of the cards I'm going to discuss as well today, because these sales haven't been here since 2020, 2021, and the prices are so low, I guess, that people are just saying, I can take a chance and spend $100 and get 100 copies of something. Why not? And that's where we're at. The price point for Commander Masters is so high that if you look at how many reserve list cards you can buy, even at these low prices, 30-year-old cards you can grab for 50 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar, I guess players are just saying, I might as well try some of these cards out and have some jank fun, or build up part of a collection or some kind of position, even in low-end stuff, because why not? I know I saw the Alpha Investments video talking about how there wasn't a lot of strong movement, but that the revised duels were kind of stabilized. I agree with that assessment. The stuff I'm seeing shows there's sales of revised dual lands everywhere, but they're staying pretty mid-range and the prices aren't really dropping. But low-end reserve list cards, I did not expect to see the sales volumes, especially after last week. Last week showed very low energy for reserve list cards. Sales overall were pretty dim, except for things like Fastball and Still, which shouldn't be there anyway. But this week was an entirely different beast. A lot of cards showed strong sales, and a few, I'll tell you right now, honorable mentions: Mox Diamond, Gaia's Cradle. Okay, 2 honorable mentions that didn't make the cut, and you'll see why in a minute. Didn't make the cut, but they did show stronger sales than normal. These are cards people are seeking, and again, it's players who want to play with them. Heavily played copies, moderately played copies are the things that are selling. Not near mint and not graded. These are players who want them, not collector investors or speculators who are intending to hold these cards long term. Now, are some of these things potentially buyout cards? Yeah. I think somebody had some fun, spent a couple $100 and did some mini buyouts. It happens all the time here on the channel. You can watch these things happen, but they don't hold strong. When smaller cards like Mind Over Matter sold, that went week after week because people wanted to try the card out and some of the combinations that were available to them. They went for that. But some of the cards in today's video, were not expected. So let's get to this. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about in today's video. And thanks again, by the way, for everyone who's been subscribing to the channel, turning on the notification bells, watching the content every day, and helping this channel get closer to 20,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button. Guys, it's epic. I can't wait to have the party with you guys when we get to the 20K. We're going to have a good time. A lot of craziness going on. So let's get started with the top 10 video. We're going to start at number 10 and end up at number 1. And some of these cards might just shock you. Fast Bond from Revised Edition is number 10 this week with 39 sales, July 15th to the 21st of 2023. With an average price tag of $15.55 US, a market price of $14.49 US, €16.44 to get this card into your house. Here in Canada, this card is going to cost you $21 Canadian, and for a moderately to heavily played copy, about half that price. Now, if we're taking a look at the number 9 card this week, that is Soldevi Excavations from Alliances with 42 sales this week. An average price tag of $22.24 US. The market price is $22.95 US. €12.98 to get this card into your house. It's around $30 here in Canada for a near mint copy. And yes, this is a card of the channel. If you're new to my tinfoil hat army, I buy this card each and every month. I think this card has a lot of uses to it. I love playing with it, and I put it in all of my blue decks, especially with cards like Rivendell and Castle Vantress. Card fixing your deck is so awesome. Number 8 this week is Mind Over Matter from Exodus with 46 sales this week. An average price tag of $60 US. Market price is $46.03. It's €34.52 to get this card into your house. And here in Canada, this card will run you $100 for a near mint copy. Keep that in mind. It might be easier to buy these cards on TCG Player. And of course, if you're shopping on TCG Player, please don't forget to use my affiliate link found in the description of all of my videos. If you click that link, it takes you directly to TCG Player for your shopping experience, and me and the channel here get a kickback of 3.5% of anything you spend, so it really helps my channel get prepared and buy cards for the channel. So thanks again for everyone who takes the time to do so. Now, when we're taking a look at the number 7 card this week, we are looking at the Envelope Boat Garden again. This thing's only like 25 to 26 bucks for a lightly played copy, so keep that in mind. When you're looking at an average price tag of $38.39, the market price is $36.30, or €21.93 to get that card in your house, $50 here in Canada, and this card from Visions still had 52 sales this week. Lower copies of this are what are really selling though. The moderate to heavily played copies, they're costing anywhere from $19.99 all the way up to around the $30 mark roughly for a really kind of light play plus. This card is selling though. Players are enjoying picking up the deals, and it's a moving card right now. Our next card is Savannah Revised Edition, and the only dual land to make the list this week. 56 sales from July 15th to the 21st. Average price tag of $341.20. Market price of $345.38, or €210.33 to get this card into your house. Here in Canada, a revised edition copy of this card in near mint is going to run you about $500, so keep that in mind. Players buying these cards are buying from every spectrum, from near mint to heavily played. They're just looking for copies of this card. Now, the number 5 card this week is Bazaar of Wonders, and that is a direct result of my channel and a live stream we did. This card is from Mirage. We spun my spinning wheel of cards we would go looking for. This is the card because it averaged 50 cents on TCG Player. So me and the channel, we basically bought 60 copies, which is only the equivalent of $30 to buy that many copies. That just shows how easily the market of the reserve list can be manipulated by a couple of bucks. It made the top 10 just on that alone. Now, the average price tag for this card right now is $1.66 US. The market price is $1.49, or you're looking at €4.09 to get this card into your house. Here in Canada, it actually goes for $5 from local store, but of course you would just buy it on TCG Player from anywhere from 50 to 60 cents to get that card. A very inexpensive card that can have some fun effects. It is an enchant world, don't forget, so have some fun with it. You never know what janky fun you can find when you look around on the reserve list. Now, number 4. This is Elvish Farmer. We're going to stop for a second and talk about this card. It's from Fallen Empires. For those who haven't seen this card, 64 sales this week. Average price tag you can see is $4.46. Market price is $4.85. Here in Canada, it's $6 Canadian or €4.72 to get this card into your house. There was a mention on a Twitch stream, I believe, last week during the Commander Masters, deck thing. And they talked about how there could be a Sporling deck thing coming up. So if you look at this, these are the things that create Sporlings, okay? There are certain cards from Fallen Empires that have had this effect before. People trying to find ways to twist these cards and break them. It is an elf, don't forget, but it also creates Sporlings. It can sacrifice them to gain life. Cards like this had a little bit of quirky fun to them. So this card made the list this week, but not only this card. This is the number 4. Take a look at number 3. This is Fungal Bloom. Okay, this is another card that you've seen before probably, and I'm telling you, these things are not normally here. And this is one of them. You're like, I see what you're doing there. So for Fungal Bloom with 82 sales this week, again, Fallen Empires, average price tag of $2.94, market price $2.94, and of course, it's got €2.95 to get this card to your house, $4 here in Canada. Now, Fungal Bloom is a 2 casting cost enchantment. Remember that enchantment. Put a spore counter on a target fungus. So you see what I'm talking about here? That kind of relationship between those two types of cards. And there was a whole bunch of Sporlings back in the day where every 3 counters you put on them, you could remove the 3 counters to put a 1/1 Sporling into play. There was ways of ramping them up, but by today's standards, they'd all seem very slow. It looks like somebody's trying to find a way again to twist these and build their position in case there's some kind of fungus ramp coming our way. Keep this stuff in mind that when you hear quirky comments like that, it can have vibrations across the pond on the reserve list that can cause sales spikes of the least intended consequence. But even with this many sales, you're only talking like, what, a couple $100? A very inexpensive type of way of getting in. And if this card spikes, somebody's going to get rich. Somebody will make a lot of money speculating on it. Now, the number 2 card is Didgeridoo. 110 copies. If you guys think I wasn't going to find that, I found that. Now, Didgeridoo, I've always enjoyed, and I still say, as the game creates more Minotaurs, we are going to see this card take off more and more. The closer you get to a true tribal creation deck, like Minotaurs, like Thralls, like I hope, maybe Kobolds, when they do those old kind of school things that bring the nostalgia, cards like this that just directly put Minotaurs into play will be crazy because you can do it on any turn, any time, as long as you've got the mana. This card's epic, and let's face it, at $15.21 for a near mint, and the market price at $15.17 and €12.55 here in Canada, it's about $12. So it's actually cheaper than these, but somebody went on TCG Player, bought like 50 copies for $5 each. Okay, that's only a $150 investment. If this card does spike back up to the $20, $30, $40, $50 level, at some later point, they stand to make thousands of dollars. That's a speculator trying to take a chance, have some fun, and maybe enjoy the card a little bit, maybe just building a position and a collection in case the reserve list turns around. Now let's go ahead and take a look at your number 1 card. Here we have the Femerif Enchantress. This is directly related to what we just saw with Commander Masters. Look at the sales. 392 sales, guys, from July 15th to the 21st. This is a buyout. If I could have said any other way, it's a buyout. This isn't minor. This anything more than 50 cards in a week is a buyout to me. Maybe even 20 or 30 depending on the card. This is huge. It caused a spike in this thing right up the side. Look at the board there, man. This thing was all the way down at like the $10 level. It's seen a few sales resurgences when they talked about, without seeing the cards in it, but talking about the Enchantress deck, we saw some sales starting to mount. And now we saw actual FOMO, people freaking out just like they did with Mind Over Matter. Don't worry about this price. Don't worry about these sales. Look at the average, $29.99. The market price is $19.04, €9.78 to get this card to your house. Here in Canada, $50 right now. Take a look at the card. 1 white, 1 green for a 1/2 creature, summon Enchantress. Whenever an enchantment is put into a graveyard from play, draw a card. It doesn't say may draw a card, by the way. It just says draw a card. So depending on how somebody's getting rid of their enchantments, especially saga cards that will go away every couple of turns, low-level saga cards that only cost 1 or 2 mana to cast, you could have a recycling of drawing cards and getting sagas and drawing cards and getting sagas every couple of turns to give yourself real card draw advantage with this card. It's directly cued in to what happened with Enduring Enchantments. But here's the good news. Let me screen this off for you. Here's the good news. It's not going to stay that way. Cards like this calm down. I've been around the block a few times and I can tell you patience is key. You want to try that combo? wait 120 days, pick it back up when it's down to 12 to 15 bucks. It's not going to stay this way. There's nothing to support the longevity of a market shift like this on this card at this time without a shift on all kinds of other cards. And that's not happening. The spikes we're seeing on these individual cards don't really make sense to me yet, but they could based on what we saw in some of the Twitch streams, live stream type stuff. We just have to wait and see how some of those cards pan out. But this one with the Enchantress, we know why it's happening. It's happening because of enduring enchantments and people trying to build better enchantment decks and trying to utilize that card to get card draw advantage. It's a good card for 2 mana. It really is. And it'll give somebody advantage. But those decks wane. The interest in those decks wane. And when things get calmed down, the prices fall down, that's when you strike and pick it up for yourself. Buy 1, buy 4, get a playset, call it a day. But don't buy into a heightened market with the FOMO at its height right now trying to build these decks. It'll get even a little bit worse at release when people try it out and if it works or doesn't work. But these things always calm down. Remember that. Even look at Mind Over Matter. It was well over 100 and something bucks. It's all the way calmed down. It's still kind of high that I'd like it to be, but give it time. These things always kind of shift back down to a lower level that is more affordable to those who have the patience, the non-Timmy attitude, the non-keeping up with the Joneses to wait and try it out. Although I'll be honest, 30 bucks isn't a killer, but you can save a lot of money just by waiting. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here on the channel and allowing me to entertain you each and every day. Looking forward to seeing those comments in the comment section. And of course, the live stream is going to be tonight, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to seeing you guys all there. We'll have some crazy fun. I'll see you guys. Have an awesome day. Enjoy it. It's pretty sunny out here right now. It's early in the morning, but we're getting this stuff all done. And my coffee's empty. I got to walk the dog. That's how it's going to be. Have a great day, everyone. And a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of the channel. Thank you again for your continued support each and every day. Because of the amazing patrons we got on this channel, we get to upload daily content each and every day. So thanks again for being there and supporting the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, you guessed it. The Ramble Jamble and I got no coffee. Look, it's empty. But that's okay. Guys, welcome back to the Boomstick edition of the Ramble Jamble. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I think it's very interesting to see how whenever a new card comes out, people act like it's a new thing that's never happened. This reserve list card is going to spike things. The signs are always there. We've talked about time and time again on this channel, looking for indicators of cards that could spike based on what that card can do. There's lots of useless reserve list cards that can still become great if something tweaks a certain way with a new card that gets printed. Wizards doesn't care, because they don't have direct access to that secondary market, at least not now. Who knows what the future will bring, but for now, this is that crazy stuff. Last week's reserve list sales were so slow. I was like, wow, should I even do a video? Look how low these are. But then, you get a video like this where you're like hundreds and hundreds of copies sold of all kinds of stuff that even I didn't expect to see. Crazy town, man. Crazy town. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Got to get a coffee. Got to walk the dog for real, because, you know, he's looking at me over there. And you got to make sure he's okay. He's got to do his business. He's a dog. Do I have dog bags? I got to find dog bags. Dog bags! Dog bags! Guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys tonight at the live stream.